This is an original Rob Roscop Santa Cruz. Anybody that's in their 40s and skated in the 80s will know this board. You know, the flying eyeball, it was a very big graphic back then. There was also another Rob Roscop with a face. There was like actually several series of them. But this guy actually designs bikes now and lives in Santa Cruz, California. But he rode for Santa Cruz, obviously, and it's an awesome board. Again, got this board at the Surf Grotto. Couldn't resist. It was another thing like that with Peterson. Had to pick it up, man. It's just too classic and too iconic not to pick up. This is the actual Japanese version of the Jeremy Klein we went over earlier. The Jeremy Klein board from 1993 from Bread House Projects that you see over there, the girl with the purple hair, is the American version. This was the version they released in Japan. And so yeah, I got this one from Jeremy Klein. It was kind of a long story. I was giving him a hard time because he ripped off an idea of mine, like for this wheel company called Jack that I rode for. He thought it'd be funny to do a shirt that said "Saki and bitches," and you know, I was giving him a hard time because I mentioned that to him in a bar like weeks before he said he was gonna do it as a shirt. I was like, yeah, you should make a bumper sticker that says that, and he did a shirt with it. So he gave me that as kind of a sorry for ripping you off kind of thing. So I was kind of stoked, you know, honestly, because it's a rare board. This is my first board from Capital Skateboards. You know, I had my first Vision down there and my first Willys and all that, and then you know, the workshop and all that. Now, of course, it's the Capital. This is when I rode for Capital back in 2002, 2001. You know, that era, the 2002 era. I'm sorry, I guess it was 2002. God, I got Alzheimer's. Can't remember when I came, you know. That's my first board from them. Just had the Capital billing on it, real basic, plain Jane. This is the second one that came out in 2002, and they just, or no, this was the one in 2001. Wait, I have it backwards. Yeah, this is the first one. This is the second one. Sorry, guys. So this is my first board from Capital Skateboards. That was my second board from Capital Skateboards. Whatever. It was all a million years ago. This is the last board I had ever before I retired right here, the Tree Recon board. And this is a board from a company that was short-lived called Ironic. They're the same as the Inkwell board. This board came at the same time as that. It's kind of ironic because this graphic was just kind of a joke, like getting busted by a cop for skating and he's wearing, you know, skate shoes. I think it was kind of the joke of that. They did their board silk screening instead of heat transfer, which is cool. And this is my favorite thing in the whole building right here. If the building floods or anything bad happens, this board is what I have to say to take the high ground. This is the board I skated in, yeah, right. It's a little cameo scene in there. The Magical Pink board section, filmed by Spike Jones and Ty Evans. And long story short, they called me up and asked me to, you know, be a part of that skit. And so I drove up to L.A. and, you know, they were pretty cool. They were really stoked about, you know, I was really stoked about working with them. They were really stoked about getting a pressure flip in there. And so this is the pink board I skated in there, man. And I got it autographed by Spike Jones and autographed by Ty on that shoot after we were done. And for the rest of the day, I didn't skate it. I took it apart and put another board on it just because I didn't want to hurt it. Like, so all these scratches are from the shoot of Yeah Right. Like, I didn't even skate after that. Like, I just kind of wrapped it in a towel and didn't want to hurt it. I was very honored to be in that film and extremely appreciative and stoked. This is a print of Mark Gator Gurgowski. For anybody that knows anything about Gator, he was a scary character. He, unfortunately, he murdered his girlfriend and he went to prison for life with good reason because, you know, that's what you should do when, you know, when that happens. But this is a Grant Britton print right here. Grant had this in his office, and it was a little bit damaged, so he couldn't sell it at an art gallery. So he just gave it to me. So I was like, all right. Took it out of his office. I was like, stoked, dude. I got, you know, original print from Grant Britton. Another Grant Britton print, you know. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing right there. I kind of look at it like he's looking over the shop, protecting the shop. He didn't really do much when they broke in. I was hoping that, you know, maybe this would fly off the wall and, you know, do some Ghostbusters stuff, but it didn't. This is Bod Boyle. This is my first contest I ever entered when I was 11 years old. I won this in a contest. I got first place in the contest in a mini ramp contest, and I was so stoked that I didn't skate the board that I won. It was just too cool of a trophy. So I took it home, and yeah, man, I saved it, threw it under a bed, and here I am, almost 34 years old, and I still have it. This Bod Boyle was the second Bod Boyle that came out after that. This one I bought years later at a shop just to kind of have to match up with that to hang on the wall. And then this one, this Brian Lottie was the guy that invented the big spin. And this board right here, I actually won in my second contest that I was ever in. And Brian Lottie is one of the hosts and guests, judges of that contest. And I couldn't really articulate that very well, but yeah, I knew that was the prize for first place. I won that board. It's got all these marks on it. It would piss me off because my friend Joey Miller, when we were in high school, skated down my parents' stairs. He took it down the stairs in their basement, like down the carpet, like dun 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 dun. And that's what all these marks are. It's like carpet burn on the graphic, which kind of bums me out. But oh well, whatever. I've seen worse things happen. So right over here we got this board I skated on the Bonneville Salt Flats. For all you that know anything about drag racing, obviously the Bonneville Salt Flats is a very hollowed ground for that. When me and Lindsay were moving across the country to come open up Eduskate and to move to Iowa and start our new lives, we stopped in Utah at the Bonneville Salt Flats just because I've always wanted to see it. We went way out of our way for it and whatnot. And anyway, I skated through them and did some tricks and whatnot and got salt all over my board. And I couldn't resist taking this board apart and putting on another one because I didn't want to hurt the graphic or anything. I wanted to keep the patina of the salt on there. Another thing about the Bonneville Salt Flats, which is neat, I found out, is Swiss labyrinth bearings will not get messed up in there. The only bearing I know of probably that would not get messed up by pure salt being caked on your wheels. So if you want a durable bearing, get the Swiss labyrinths. They will last forever because they survived the Bonneville Salt Flats, and I didn't think anything would survive that. My car didn't want to survive it. I barely survived it, but my bearing survived it just fine. So yeah, I'm telling you, that's a neat board. I never want to get rid of that. Definitely pass that down to my grandkids or something, you know. Over here we got some of these boards from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This right here is a board my mom actually picked up at like a church rummage sale, and she gave it to me a million years ago. And I'm looking at it, and it's got the California racer trucks on it, and the base plates are really flat. So I'm you know, my best hypothesis is from the late 50s. So yeah, this is like 58, 59, something like that. It's got the roller derby wheels on it, you know, clay wheels. Before that, the early 50s, the boards looked like this. They're roller skate and metal. So this is the oldest one I have up there. They had the roller skate metal wheels on it. This is like a homemade one where someone took their sister's roller skates, split it in half, and then silk screened their own logo on it. Made it their own little company. Obviously, this was like a homemade out of a garage. You know, a couple surfer bros were trying to sell these and make it happen, which is cool. You know, grassroots. I kind of like that. And then this one right here is another old clay wheeled one. Another old clay wheeled one that's, you know, late 50s, early 60s. And this is the board I skated. I had my 15 seconds of fame in the Lords of Dogtown doing the stunt double work for one day for Stacy Peralta's character. And Austin Stevens, the guy that was doing the stunt work for him, called in sick. He was sick with the flu. And so I kind of came in as his fill-in for one day, and all I did is carve over the light in the dog bowl. The only clip they used of me was slamming, actually, in the film. So it's kind of cheesy. But anyway, this is the board I skated on that set. It's an original Zephyr, and they just put newer trucks and wheels on it to make it more compatible with now. They had a whole stack of these Zephyr boards on the set, and Steve Beatty, the stunt coordinator, was kind of pissed at me because I stole this from the set, and he called me for weeks going, hey, do you still have that board? Can I get it back? And I never called him back, so I have my little memento from being on that film. Who knows? Maybe that's why my bad karma happened and someone broke into my shop, is because I stole this from Sony Pictures, you know. And I feel like Sony Pictures has enough money, you know. I didn't feel like I was stealing from anyone poor, you know. It was kind of like, you know, giant production house. But yeah, that's kind of the story with me and that board right there. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all the Decorskations I can think of, man, honestly. You know, there's the pool table. I've had that since I was 15 years old. A lot of great games of pool have been shot on this table. A lot of crazy people. I had a lot of friends come over to my parents' house when I was a kid and sleep on this table and party on this table, and things have been spilt on this table. And if this pool table could talk, it could tell you stories, you know. But honestly, I don't remember many of them. And then the 62 Impala Santa Cruz board, that's kind of a rad board up there. I've had that since I was a kid. I used to always think Impalas were rad. There's a picture of me in the X Games back in '98 right here. You know, that's just a cool memento. My friend Sean Timer shot that photo from the sidelines. I got him a press pass, even though he wasn't part of the press. He had one of the first digital cameras that ever came out back then. It was like this really giant, janky piece of crap. And he shot that and got that photo of me all over the rail right there in the beginning of my run. And it was kind of cool. You know, I was pretty honored to be, I don't know, in that, I guess. You know, when I look back at it, it was kind of cool. At the time, I felt kind of cheesy wearing pads and all that, but now I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool, you know. I can brag about that. This is a first place trophy for a freestyle contest I won. It was like the West Coast Regional Freestyle Contest. It's kind of cheesy. It's a big, hokey, cheesy trophy. Lindsay always makes fun of it, says it's really tacky, but I couldn't get rid of it because it was a first place trophy. It was kind of cheesy, but that was the West Coast Freestyle Championship, first placed. Blah, blah, blah. It was a freestyle pro contest. I don't know how I won it, honestly. I just went out there and did my usual routine of pressure flip stuff and somehow ended up winning. I don't know. It was weird. And then this is some stuff from Tampa, Skate Park of Tampa. Got this guy here for most original style. And then my favorite thing, other than the Yeah Right board, is probably this guy, Blaster, right here. He's pretty rad. It's an old No, what do you call it? Transformer. I'm drawing a blank right now, dude. I got Alzheimer's, mixing up my boards, which ones, what time they came in and stuff. And he transfers into a robot, but I've had him since I was 6 years old, so I'm kind of scared of hurting him. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that pretty much wraps up. That's all the Decorskations of Eduskate right there. And yeah, I'm pumped, man. That was awesome. Good times. There you go. There's all the Decorskations. I guess that explains it. Honestly, let's take this guy for a spin. Woo! Dude, that thing is gnarly. That is gnarly. That's a Widowmaker.